Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to rank. Sorry, I was gonna say review because I feel like I just say like the same thing over and over in each of my videos, like at the beginning, and like I used to hate doing that, because it's like you have to do it because it's like it's branding, it's consistency, but like it's so boring to do that. It's like you feel like a robot. But I decided I could do some little mini rankings for the Frankenstein series. And I think that this is the most important ranking because, in terms of the Frankenstein movies, I think that one of the reasons why the sequels were big failures is because they didn't want to focus on the doctor, on the mad scientist. They didn't want to make him the focus. And they were too busy focusing on, like, okay, the monster, let's redesign him. Let's have this other guy play him. Oh, how's he going to be this movie? They were all focused around the monster. They weren't focused on the doctor at all. And that's the reason why the first one was so good, because that's a key misunderstanding of the book, is that the monster is the villain. The real villain is the doctor, because he's the one who created the monster, and the monster is a reflection of the doctor and all that he's doing. So that's one of the reasons why the series really failed. And so I wanted to rank all the doctors in the series. So there's like 7. And number 7, the worst one, is Ludwig from Ghost of Frankenstein. I think, let's see, I think that's the one, because I wanted to get all the names. But this guy, he didn't even look like the character, like he could be like a scary mad scientist guy. He just looked like a dad. And that was like his character in the movie, is like this worn out, old, grizzled scientist guy who's, he's a father, and he has to make the ultimate sacrifice at the end. That's his character, and he's not really even a bad guy. He's just kind of like a good dad, and so his character's really boring. I think that the guy that they got, he was totally miscast, and I think that he definitely was the worst doctor. Number 6 is Baron Wolf von Frankenstein. This is Basil Rathbone and Son of Frankenstein. And this character, I couldn't hate him more than I do. Like, I hate this character because he's a nothing. It's like his character doesn't even make sense. He starts off the story, he's really excited. He wants to continue his dad's work for some reason, and then he goes to the castle that he's now living at, and he discovers all these secrets, and he wants to bring the monster back, but then he's also just kind of enjoying his life here in this town. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. And then at the very end of the movie, he just does this total switch up, and he kills the monster, and then all of a sudden he gifts the castle to the whole town, and he leaves. And I'm sorry, it didn't make sense. His character was so stupid. And it's sad because everyone loves Basil Rathbone, but I have not seen him in a good movie so far. We saw him in a terrible Sherlock Holmes movie last year, and this year we saw him in a terrible Frankenstein movie, and there was nothing even mad scientisty about him. There was nothing about him that felt like it was like a Frankenstein doctor character, so hated him. Number 5, this guy's really like in the middle. Dr. Frank Mannering from Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. He is like the definition of white bread. He is so boring, he's so bland, and the way he talks, the looks on his face, he's basically just there to do things for the plot. He doesn't really have a character, and he's there so that he can hug the woman and make her feel safe in front of the monsters at the end. And there's this one part where he knows that the monster's bad. He knows that, like, he shouldn't be fucking around with this stuff, but he decides to bring the monster to ultimate power. And it's like, seriously? Like, it's stupid. And then all of a sudden, he brings him to the ultimate power, and then he just doesn't care anymore. And it's just, that's such a radical character transformation to make, all within like 5 minutes. But he wasn't terrible. He wasn't really meant to be like a Frankenstein doctor, but he was still really boring, and I just think that he should have had more to him. Number 4 is Dr. Neiman from House of Frankenstein. This is a really, really good character. In fact, I probably should, and actually, never mind. See, I switched around live while I was shooting this, but I just decided the switch was stupid. So number 4 is Dr. Edelman from House of Dracula. House of Dracula was actually a really surprisingly good movie. I did not expect to love it as much as I did, because I hated this movie as a kid, and I just didn't care about any of the stuff in the movie. But now that I'm an adult, I really think that this movie is an underrated entry in the series. And one of the reasons is you have this Dr. Edelman character. He really does have a character. I mean, he's a good guy. He's trying to do the right thing. He basically, the whole town is centered around him. Like, the town goes to him for rescue missions for people who try to commit suicide for some reason. Like, he's the center of everything in this really funny way that would only happen in like an old 1940s movie. Nowadays they'd never have a character, a movie like this. And his character, though, he goes through this really tragic story where, he's trying to cure these monsters, and then he himself gets infected and becomes a monster, and he has the whole Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing, and I just thought, wow, like, this was actually a surprisingly really good character, and he was really good. But number 3, I do think he's a little bit better, is Dr. Neiman from House of Frankenstein. This role is really interesting because it feels like they went full circle. You have Boris Karloff, who played the monster for 3 movies, and this time he plays the Dr. Frankenstein character. And he's essentially probably one of the most evil characters, if not the most evil character in the entire Frankenstein series. And he's just really cold. He's a manipulator. He uses this hunchback guy, Daniel, with the promise that he'll fix him, but he doesn't really want to. He doesn't care. He's just a horrible person, and he screws everyone over. And he was the perfect character to bring into the series, though, because they actually centered the story around him and made him a character and made him like a mad scientist character. So it made a lot more sense that he wanted to do all this stuff because he was so crazy and evil. Number 2 is Dr. Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, need I say more? I mean, I used to get really creeped out by this guy as a kid. I do think he's a little annoying. I mean, he is basically a James Whale self-insert, which is funny because people act like there's never been self-inserts in movies before until like the year 2020, but there have always been self-inserts in movies. That's just how movies work, and Dr. Pretorius is like a classic self-insert character, and it's like just the way that if you look at the story from that perspective, it brings in a really interesting dynamic, to say the least. And he's just really evil. He's really crazy. He did a great job acting in the role. There's this one shot where he's bringing in this box of miniature people, and he looks so creepy when he brings in the box. He actually looks like creepier than the monsters in the movie. So, yeah, he's a great character looking back. Number 1 is Henry from the first Frankenstein movie. I mean, need I say more? You got Colin Clive, and I did not like him in the second one. I thought that in the second one, the movie, it was the writing's fault that he was bad. But in the first one, this guy, he is a full-on 3D character. He is one of the coolest movie characters in history because he's so interesting and weird and mysterious, and he really leads the movie. You know, I mean, the movie is centered around him. It's not centered around the monster. Okay, I mean, he goes toe-to-toe with the monster. He doesn't give a fuck. Frankenstein in the book, he's a giant pussy-ass bitch. But, Frankenstein in the movie, he's like, he doesn't care. He's going to fight the monster. He doesn't give a fuck. And so, he doesn't even care about doing anything with the monster either. Like, he basically has no attempt to, do anything with him after he makes him. He's just like, oh yeah, I created this monster, and it's getting a little out of hand, so I'm gonna kill him now because he's a pain in the you-know-what. And there's so many cool moments where, like, he brings in the seriousness. He's like, okay, I am in serious mad scientist doctor mode. And then he goes into these lighter parts where he's just like a normal guy, and it's like he's a really interesting character in that way. And, I gotta say, too, the Frankenstein series would not have been as popular if he wasn't the Mad Doctor. Because the whole movie falls apart if he's not the main character. The whole movie. You don't have a good movie if you don't have Colin Clive as Dr. Frankenstein. That's non-negotiable. And so he really is the best doctor, obviously. And it's funny, because I'm never the guy to, when I rank things, I'm a big, sequel fan. I'm a big, apologist for, Halloween sequels, which, honestly, are a lot better than what people say. But I'm never the type of guy who's like, oh yeah, the first one's always the best. The first is the best. The first is, the pure thing. But with this series, it really is kind of the truth. Because, it's just a clear quality difference. And, I think that the more movies that you watch, the more clear quality differences that you can see. That you can actually see. Because it just, you're able to see, because when you watch so many movies, it's like an automatic thing of like, oh yeah, that movie's not very good, or in some cases too, it's kind of like a bad thing because, you could watch like an indie movie and go at first like, oh, this isn't very good, but then as it goes along, it gets better and better and better, and then it's like, oh, whoops, I misjudged that, or, even bigger movies. So, but anyways, the best doctor is Henry, which I gotta say too, why didn't they ever have a Victor Frankenstein in the original series? Because if you guys don't know, the doctor's name in the book is Victor Frankenstein. So why did they never have a Victor in the movies? Like, they could have had one. They could have had just one Victor in the series, it wouldn't have been that much. So anyways, please like this video, comment, who do you think is the best doctor? Did you disagree with any of my rankings? Because I know that people love Son of Frankenstein. Unfortunately, I despise Son of Frankenstein. I think it is one of the worst monster movies I've ever seen. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest rankings. And I know that sounded really pretentious and smug. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon.